Hello, everyone. I am super excited to be back here on the First Team Behind the Agent podcast. And today we have Jeremiah Secrest with us. And Jeremiah is not an agent anymore. He was an agent and then stepped into a leadership role and has successfully led our two Huntington Beach offices to the #1 office within First Team. So I know that we have a lot of team leaders. I know we have a lot of owners that are watching these videos. And I can't think of a better person to kind of reflect for us and show us how he's built, because it wasn't the #1 office when he took over at all, and how he's built that, how he's recruited to it, how he's helped the agents train them, coach them, and get them to the level that he's at today. So welcome, Jeremiah. I'm so happy to have you on.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm happy to be here and discuss, just all the things that it takes to build a great team, a great office, whatever you want to talk about. I'm excited to talk about it. And anybody out there that's watching this that needs some help, it takes a little bit of time and effort, but with the right systems and processes, anybody can do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So tell us about when you first came over to Huntington Beach. Cam and I met with you and we were like, what do you think about being a leader? What were the thoughts that went through your head and why did you say yes?
I ask that question all the time. No, my whole life I've been interested in leadership and I've wanted to be in leadership. I've wanted, until I went to work as a W-2 employee for you, Michele. I was a 1099 contractor like so many agents out there, and that was a great space for me. I have an entrepreneurial mindset. I love building. I love creating. So really ultimately saying yes to being a manager and leading offices. I sold real estate in the Huntington Beach area for, 16, 17 years before I took the leadership position. I'm overseeing the two offices now. And it was just one of those things. I got a little bit older and I felt in my heart that it was time for me to give back to my community, to the company First Team that's helped me become such a great individual agent, very successful over the years, Hall of Fame producing agent over the years. And my heart was telling me it was my time to give back. So I decided to say yes when you guys reached out to me. That was October of 2020, I believe. October of 2020.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Yeah, I kind of felt the same way. I only sold real estate for 2 years before I was like, I really feel the need to kind of help other people. And at the time I was investing a lot in real estate, and my kind of thing I wanted to do was help other agents understand how to invest. Although when I look back on it now, I was like, I was 2 years in the business. What the hell was I thinking? Like I knew so much, but I felt a little bit cocky. But yeah, I think some of us have the bug to like lead and show the way and teach and coach, and some of us have the bug to just like show property and help people realize their family's dream. And I think that it's fun when you get to kind of learn the other path, right?
Yeah. No, it's a lot of work. I tell my wife this all the time. It's becoming a manager or regional manager has given me so much perspective of my business and how I used to do business in the past as an individual agent. Listen, I wasn't the #1 agent anywhere or anything. I sold 15 to 25 houses a year. Pretty much year in and year out, I could count on 15 to 25 transactions per year. That was a great career for me. This, like we own a house by the beach in Huntington. We own a house in Paso Robles in wine country, and we have a great life. And selling real estate provided all that. But the perspective I got after becoming a manager is that I thought I was busy all the time. I thought I was like that 24/7 agent, 7 days a week working. I didn't realize how little I actually worked on my business or in my business until I became a manager. And I work more now than I ever have. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. But I always thought in my mind I was busier than I really was. And there was so much wasted time and energy doing whatever, like fixing the stuff around the house or, family coming in and visiting from out of town and picking them up at the airport at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday, whatever it was. It's just like life is so distracting. And when you don't time block or you don't have your schedules, it's so easy just for time to get away. And you think you're busy, but you're not really busy in your business. So that was great perspective for me. I wouldn't change that for anything. Just for that one thing alone, I'm grateful that I took this position, other than impacting people's lives and helping them create better businesses. But that one thing alone really gave me a lot of perspective.
Nice. So you have some huge success stories in your office. I mean, you came into an office that was successful with the likes of Lily Campbell and then the tell me how to pronounce your name again.
Holly Verstraete, Joanne and Christina.
Verstrate.
Yeah.
And and then you also brought in newer agents like Moyne and his group and helped him build a team. And do you think like you learned from the teams that, that you had before, like this is what they're doing right, this is what they're doing wrong, and so I can help you build your team, that kind of thing?
Yeah, 100% yes. The great thing about being leadership, and, I also came in from, I worked this territory as a real estate agent. So a lot of people in this area knew me for many years as a real estate agent. First team agents, other brokerage agents. I know a lot of people in and around Huntington Beach, but they knew me as a real estate agent. When they started trusting me as a mentor or a coach, manager, when they started trusting me and inviting me into their businesses to help guide them, man, yes, it was an education. It was great that they trusted me to help them guide their business, but being able to see roughly $1 billion a year in production and 1,000 transactions a year and being a part essentially of every one of those through each team elevated my real estate knowledge to a level where I never thought it would be. So that involvement is huge, and we've been fortunate to really grow. I was actually looking, me, I'm a stats junkie. I like to track. Since 2022, we've hired or recruited 166 agents and $284 million in production since I started back. It's really back since 2021 because October 2020 was a partial year, but going back to late 2021 where I had the access to the numbers for me to today, it's $280 million in production that's joined the team, which has helped catapult us to that number one position, which I'm
Yeah.
super proud of.
Yeah, super. You should be super proud of that. And a lot of it isn't just that you've recruited, because you've done an amazing job recruiting, but tell me also about how you've improved agents' productivity individually or in teams.
Yeah, truthfully, that's my favorite part of it, the development, right? I told you I had an entrepreneurial spirit, entrepreneurial mind, where we have, one agent, an example, he came into us as an $8 million agent. His second year or first year of full year of being with us, he then had done 22, 24 million. So I think it was 22 million. That his third year into the business are with us, went to 72 million, and he's on track to do 100 million. So when you get somebody that's new, that's already doing some good things, they did 8 million in their first year. That's awesome. Not all agents do that. And when they listen and they buy in to what you're doing and the advice that you're giving them, just to see them take that from 8 million to 72 million, I mean, that's extremely rewarding. It's rewarding for me to see the development. It's rewarding for them financially because they're making a lot of money. But being able to see that's one of the more extreme examples. But when I have an agent go, I think 2 years ago, I had an agent that I brought on. He was crushing it for his company. He was number one in the brokerage where he was at, but he was the biggest fish at 21 million, 22 million. And last year with us, he did about 47 million. So to see somebody that's already like figured out the business, they're already doing well. And I always I think this, I use the Shark Tank analogy. Like there's a lot of great ideas out there. A lot of people create great products or have great business ideas. Sometimes they just need that shark or that investor to help them go from here to up here. And I really think that's what we do at First Team. And what I try to do in my individual offices is I want to be your business partner and help you make as much money as you want to make and give you some advice on how to get there. And hopefully we have the vision to do that. And we've shown that we have had that vision, which is really fantastic.
Yeah, and I think so many real estate companies get that wrong. Like I talked about this when I was on that Housing Wire podcast. Like I think so many real estate companies think that the tech platform, we're a platform, we're a technology company, we're a marketing company. Really, like tech and marketing and all that stuff, especially with AI, is getting so cheap and so easy. And that's not going to keep an agent with you. That's not what agents are looking for, in my opinion. What I would be looking for if I was a real estate agent in a tougher market like we've had the last couple of years is growth. is coaching, is somebody that can take me to the next level, is somebody that can hold me accountable. And I
Hmm.
think that's what so many companies miss, and what you're doing so well at your office. And it's just amazing. I've seen the growth of your office. I've seen the growth of the agents and the teams in your office. And I think what we do better than any other company I've ever seen in the
Yeah.
real estate industry.
Yeah.
So, I mean, congratulations to you on that.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's the one thing that I love the most that we do is the collaboration. I mean, my mind's always going, but every leadership meeting that we have as a company, somebody has a great idea. Like, I truly believe that more than one mind is better. Like two minds are better than one mentality. But when we get together and we talk about, making real estate agents' businesses better, there's always something that sparks in my mind that makes me want to go back and try to, hey, can we do this prospecting better? Can we do this conversion process better? Can we do this lead generation platform better? And just that constant thinking on how to improve. But I think the way that we do it is amazing because we're constantly thinking, how can we improve our agents' business for them? How can we help give them different perspective within this industry? And it's not just about opening doors and showing houses and a buyer telling you want to write an offer and you write the contract. It's you're running a business. So treat your business
Mhm.
like a business. You are the CEO, CFO, COO of your real estate business. So act that way. And I think we do a good job of teaching on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you identify somebody that you're like a couple of these team leaders you were talking about, are you like identifying, okay, that guy has a bright future. I'm going to dedicate more time to this individual, or are you kind of like, I give my time, to whoever needs it?
I mean, you definitely, I definitely try to be available to everybody they're going to be available to. Some people get it, some people don't get it. And listen, all the people that I've hired over the years, I'm not saying some of them aren't in the business anymore because they didn't want to do it. Something I probably learned within 6 months of being a branch manager is that I can't make them as successful as I want to make them. They're only going to be as successful as they want to be. I first came in all gung ho and I'm like, you could be a $20 million agent. You're so great. You got all these intangibles and you got this great SOI, but they didn't want that. And I didn't, in the beginning, I didn't take the time to figure out what they wanted. So that was a little bit of a shift in what I really focus on now, whether I'm working with one of our existing agents or an interview. It's like I really try to figure out first, what do you want and how can I foster that? If you want to be a
Mhm.
$10 million agent, or you want to be a $5 million agent, that's fine. If that's what you want because of the money that you'll make will do the things that you need, perfectly fine. So I push them like, okay, 5 million a year will give you what you need. Maybe we can do 6 million, right? So I'll try to encourage them, but it's the ones that have the vision that have a clear understanding. I definitely will give more time that they've thought through processes. They're like, hey, I'm doing 20 million now, and I would really love to get to 75 million because I always, but because doing 75 million isn't a reason enough to show up every day. It's like, what's the why? What's the motivation? Are you doing this for your family or because you want to buy a house? You want to buy 20 houses, whatever that motivation might be is up to the individual. But understanding that motivation for every person, I think, is really important. And then I
Yeah.
can help them be a better version of what they want to be already.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about technology, because
Mhm.
I know you and I go, back and forth about how much we love tech and how much it's changing and how much it's changed the lives and, our business and everything we've implemented and everything going on. And what do you see it doing right now in your company? And then what do you see it evolving into in the future?
I'm super stoked on it with AI and everything that you can do now. I don't live in fear. I'm not one of those people that are afraid of it. I get asked weekly for sure, almost daily, is AI going to replace real estate agents? That's been a very common question. Or what do I think is going to happen to the industry because of AI? I don't think AI is going to replace real estate agents, but I think people that don't adapt using some of this technology that's coming out now will be replaced. They will lose out or phase out the business. So I potentially see fewer agents in the future. And those ones that know how to operate in a tech world with high efficiencies and processes and systems, the AI, it's so cheap. Like you said it earlier when you opened up, it's so cheap. I was just showing you a project I was working on that probably would have cost what, 15, $20,000 a couple years ago, and I did it for $200.
Hmm.
And it wasn't, and it's not like I'm sitting at a computer for hours typing code. Like it was,
Yeah.
I gave it a few commands. It worked for minutes or, whatever it was. And then it came back and asked me some questions and I answered the questions and moved on and did something else. It was working in the background while I was doing other things. So I was helping with multitasking and creating some really great stuff. So it's going to increase our efficiencies. AI to me levels us all up. It levels
Yeah.
our ability to think, our ability to process, our ability to create. It levels us all up, and I think it's awesome for that. People need to take the time to understand it and not just be afraid of it. There's downsides to it too. There should be pushback in some areas for sure, but it helps us be more efficient. So the way I look at it, really with technology, because you can go down this crazy rabbit hole, right? I'm
Mhm.
sure that maybe you've lost a little bit of hours kind of messing around with things just because. But is what I'm creating valuable? Can it help me lead? So my mindset, what I use it or for our agents, can it improve my lead generation? Essentially, can it help me be a better prospector? Can it improve my usage of time, my efficiency? And will it overall elevate the client experience? So that's kind of like, does it increase productivity? Does it increase my conversions? Does it increase my opportunities? And will it elevate my level of service that I'm providing to my consumer? And if it doesn't meet one of those four guidelines, I'm not doing it. So the processes that I'm thinking through are in those lanes to help improve my business, not just to spend hours and hours, because you could, creating neat stuff that's not good for anything.
Yeah.
So how do you
Yeah.
improve it for the business?
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about leadership and culture and how that has been in your office and how it's transformed and grown. And, I know that when you came in, there was a family culture there already. So that was really amazing that you got to
Mhm.
walk into that. But I know that your leadership has been instrumental in how the office has grown. So do you subscribe to any like leadership philosophies? How do you feel like you're continuing to grow that culture?
Yeah, well, one, I love this business. I love real estate. And I love the real estate business. I'm super passionate about it, so that helps. Like I don't feel like I'm working every day. I feel like I'm just get to do something that I love every day and impact people's lives is a bonus. So yes, there's not a particular philosophy other than that my faith is extremely important to me, and so I come from a philosophy of service and serving the people around me. It's kind of, and I try to do the same thing in my marriage always, right? I always try to put myself second. It is a hard thing to do, but from a leader, not only in my marriage, but in my offices, I don't put myself above my agents. I always put myself second to them because then it keeps my mindset and my focus on helping them and not on, well, they didn't do this or they need to improve on this. Like they're not doing this for me. If I put them first, which is extreme, it's a giant ego check. Like I have to work on it every day, right? And that pride of it kind of gets in the way. But just me showing up and leading by example and working hard and being present and being energetic about the business and helping people and everything we do is about serving our clients and how do we get better at doing that so they give us repeat and referral business. That my leadership style is a style of example, but also a style of putting myself second and trying to serve them better.
Yeah, I love that. So what do you do when an agent, because I know I was a branch manager for a while and I had my own company where I managed all my agents there. And I know that there's a good amount of burnout that can happen
Mhm.
because you're constantly pouring yourself into other people and coaching and training and you want them to succeed so bad. And sometimes they just don't, you tell them what to do, they don't do it, and they come back and they're like, I don't understand why I can't make any money in this business. And like, I told you what to do last time. You didn't do it. So do it this time. And then they come back and they're like, I don't know. I just can't do it. And I'm like, but I told you what to do. And it's like that
Yeah.
level of frustration. Like,
Yeah.
I'm always helping you and always trying to tell you what to do. And you're never listening or you just don't want to. So how do you deal with that kind of like, so you don't get burnt out?
My own personal burnout or their burnout?
No, you're burnout.
I don't know. I'm a crazy person. I love to work. I do. You go, there's ups and downs with it, right? And there's seasons of like, sometimes I go home and I tell my wife, I'm like, honey, I'm sorry. I've used all my words today. I cannot talk. I'm like, can we just, I want to learn, I want to hear about your day, all those things, but can you give me an hour? I've used all my words. There's seasons for all of it, especially right now, kind of feeling that a little bit, truthfully, in the just with the environment of AI and all these new things, and my brain is just like wanting to explode with everything. So there's a little bit of frustration that seeks in, just like because I want to do it all, but I can't get to it all, and time is limited. And sometimes, like, so I started getting up at 5 a.m. and going for a walk and not having my phone and not listening to anything and just having some silence to try to step back a little bit. So, you have to deal with it. And, exercise is obviously a big one, and diet and all those things are really important. But for me, prayer, meditation, quiet time is really truly how I recharge my batteries. And then, we go up to Paso Robles for a weekend, and that helps too.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I just think also like not taking it personally helps me. Like if I'm trying to help somebody and they're not doing the things that I told them would be beneficial for them to do, it like to not take it personally. Like it's not that they don't
Yeah.
trust me. It's not that they, don't believe what I say is true. It's that they're like most of the time they're just lazy. And I can't take that personally. I just have to, call them out and just be like, you didn't do it? Okay, so you're being lazy,
Yeah.
right? And it just kind of puts it in perspective for me. Like I'm really lucky because the only people I really have to manage is our management team, and everybody's amazing and everybody works hard. And then our community offices, which are like the top, some of the top leaders in the company. So I know that dealing with some agents that are not quite
Yeah.
up to snuff can be a little challenging.
Well, the most frustrating part is like you just get done doing an 8 week consultation or workshop on something, and then 10 days later, somebody comes in and is like, well, we should really talk more about the buyer consultation and how we can use some of these tools in this. I'm like, where have you been for the last 8 weeks?
Oh my God. Or like, I don't understand why we never talk about buyer consultations. And you're like, seriously? Like,
Yeah. Like we never talk about this. I'm like, I literally just spent 8 weeks going through this.
oh my God, that's the worst. Yeah. Yeah, I
But
think just like,
I just try to stay level. I'm like I mean I've only been doing it. Some of the managers out there have done it for 20, 35 years. I've done it for 6, but I've learned to just be like, how here's how I use tech for that solution. A lot of the trainings I started doing are like, hey, I'm like, hey, here's a good idea, a little 5 minute blurb on a good email to send for prospecting or whatever it might be. Or here's how we use this company tool. I started doing bomb videos, and I have this insane library of like how-to videos. So now when somebody comes like, oh, hey, how do I find that? Or you did that training, I record all of my big important trainings, all get recorded. So now instead of saying, hey, can you talk to me about that training? Or you did this, but I missed it. Can you spend an hour with me? No, I can't. But here's the video. You can watch it. So I started recording my how-to videos, my bomb videos. I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years ago I started doing that, and that's really really helped me a lot. And I make it available to all the agents so they can go in and find it. It's something I call it. My last name is Secrest, as you can see. I call it the Secrest School of Real Estate, and I just put all those videos in there, and it's made my life so much easier.
oh, I love that. Yeah, efficiencies for sure. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it gets repeating yourself over and over and over and over again is not fun.
No. And it's definite. Listen, when you have the same, I'm only overseeing a couple hundred, but it can definitely, you get asked, I get asked the same question 6 or 7 times a day sometimes, and it's
Yeah.
like, man, didn't I talk to you about this earlier? Oh, that was somebody else.
So, what would you say to somebody who is thinking about either opening their own office or starting a team or getting into leadership and, what kind of sacrifices you have to make and what the benefits are?
One, have a plan. The plan doesn't have to be perfect. You're not going to get it right the first time, but have a vision. Maybe a vision with a plan of where you think it's going to go, but have the vision of where you want to go. I think it's important. Don't, the vision isn't just, I'm going to open my own brokerage or my own team because I think I'll make more money. That is not vision. Have a vision for what you want to accomplish. I think that's probably the most important thing. And because you have it, there is a lot of sacrifice. You do work a lot and you put a lot of hours in, but what are you putting all those hours in for? What are you sacrificing? What are you losing out on? Are you missing time with your kids? Are you missing time with family? There's always a give and take. I can only be in one place at one time, so I'm choosing to be here today doing this. And else am I missing out on that I could be doing in another place? So you have to understand your purpose and what you want to do. And for me personally, it was like that leadership, the desire really comes from a desire of ripple effect. Again, selling 15 to 25 houses a year personally was great, provided great for my wife and I. I impacted 15 to 25 people a year, but that wasn't a big ripple effect. One of my deciding, you asked me earlier, why did I say yes? One of the reasons was because the city of Huntington Beach has given me a lot over the last 20, 21 years, just from business and financial, as far as selling houses in this community. I'm like, I want to impact my community. How am I doing that? Selling 15 to 25 houses a year is impacting individuals at a great level. It's a great industry that we get to be a part of people's lives. But when I manage 215 people, my ripple effect was multiplied massively. So now ultimately, because I'm leading this team, I'm impacting 1,000 people, 1,000 families or individuals a year. That ripple effect is massive. I don't physically see it, but I know that if I train my agents to be the best that they can, to be more knowledgeable, to be confident, to go out and better serve their clients, that is impacting the entire city of Huntington Beach because we sell a lot of houses in Huntington Beach. So that ultimately my desire to impact my community and to just do something bigger than myself makes me show up every day.
I love that. That's awesome. What a great way to kind of wrap it up. So are you a reader? I think you are, right?
I do like to read, but I'm a very slow reader. I love Audible. So I'm all on Audible books. One of my favorites, are you going to ask me, like, what am
Yeah, I
I
was going to
listening
ask you,
to
do you
right
have any
now?
recommendations for one of your favorites or something you're reading right now?
For the second time, I am listening to Unreasonable Hospitality. Such a great book. I can't remember the Will something. I can't remember his name. Unreasonable Hospitality, about a guy that started a Michelin star restaurant and just the level of service that it took, and phenomenal for any business person. It's a fairly common book, but Unreasonable Hospitality. I also, for the probably the third or fourth time, a classic for me, Dale Carnegie, How to Make Friends and Influence People. There's newer versions in a digital age and all that kind of stuff. Just foundationally really great to listen to that kind of stuff. But Dale Carnegie was ahead of his time when those books were written. So those are the two that I'm listening to right now.
Awesome. Awesome.
What are you listening to right now?
Actually, I just downloaded a new one, The Splendid and the Vile, about Winston Churchill.
Okay, yeah.
So listened to a lot of podcasts on Winston Churchill lately and just amazing leadership and, just biographies are what I'm into right now, kind of like the way to look at, leaders and
Mm,
entrepreneurs and how they run their business, run their countries and all
yeah.
that good stuff.
No, that's awesome. I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'm only just beginning it. So
Yeah, some of those are like 30-hour listens. I'm like, oh, when am I gonna do this?
no, this is a short one. This is a short one. I like the short
Oh, is
ones.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm blessed with a very short commute. I drive about 5 minutes to the office.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Jeremiah, for being our guest today. And I hope that you continue your success in Huntington Beach. I know that you will. And if anybody's interested in making any switches to any other offices in Huntington Beach, Jeremiah is your man. And subscribe to our podcast.
Do it. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you.